movie fans. I'm Chrisley Kennedy, and this is the show we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, on the couch today is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
That didn't half sound
Editor-in-Chief.
right. Anyway, hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm still recovering from a late screening of Edge of Tomorrow, which I was very pleasantly surprised by. We'll go more into that later.
We also have joining us our AMC Movie News Editor, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, I'm really digging the low rider casual Friday couch vibe.
Yeah. And we also have joining me on the couch is the other half of Schmono, Mr. Christian Harloff.
I am in my element on this couch. I really feel relaxed. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys may have noticed that we're all sitting on the couch. What I decided, well, it's Friday. And every once in a while, sometimes we have to skip the live Twitter questions at the end of the show. So I thought, you know what? It's Friday. It's Casual Friday. Why don't we make up for the fact that sometimes we don't have time for live questions and just do an all Friday, all tweet in live questions. So I already put out on my Twitter earlier today that you guys can start tweeting in questions. But for those of you who don't know how to do it, hop on Twitter right now if you're watching us live and tweet to us at AMC Movie News. We're just going to spend the next half hour just taking live Twitter questions, sitting around talking about movies. And Chrisley is still our gatekeeper. She will decide what gets asked and what does not. So Chrisley, let's start things off.
And you guys went to see Edge of Tomorrow last night and loved it, right?
I
loved it.
Yeah, I really I still won't say that I loved it, but I thought it was really, really good. I thought
will proclaim
pleasantly
my love.
surprised.
I will also proclaim my love for it. It was one of the better sci-fi films I've seen in a very long time.
Truly.
We're going to do a spoilers review for it actually later today.
Yeah.
So watch for our spoilers review. Probably be online tomorrow for Edge of Tomorrow.
Well, I have to let everyone know that I went a different route last night and did The Night Before Our Stars and saw The Fault in Our Stars. And I have to tell you that it was the best book-to-film adaptation I've seen so far, and everyone should go check it out.
Bring the tissues,
Bring your
right?
tissues.
Absolutely bring tissues.
Bring your tissues.
I saw so many people tweeting pictures. Like I went on Instagram and Twitter. I saw so many pictures of people coming out of, was it Night Before Our Stars? Is that what it was? The Night Before Our Stars. And everybody's like,
oh, ugly cry.
Like if I had a nickel for every picture I saw of running mascara last night, I would have been a very wealthy man.
Amateurs, they should wear mascara.
I was just going to say, see, that's why I didn't wear makeup. There was a lot of ugly crying.
It was tough also for that movie because I had cause I'm a dad, so when I had like the Denzel Washington tear, it came down. It just like came down out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh man, like nobody's doing like the scratch in my face, like
or like the nose, like I'm not crying.
Yeah. It's Shailene Woodley's so good, but that's another video.
All right, well, our first question is going to come from Michael Gulick, who says, what classic Disney live-action movie could most benefit from a remake? I think 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Ooh, and if I'm not mistaken, about 2 years ago, who was it? Somebody was actually attached to a 20,000 remake. And it wasn't Ron Howard.
No, they had it at
But
Warner
it was a name
Brothers.
like that.
Cool,
yeah.
Ron Howard doing 20,000 Leagues? Are you kidding me?
That.
No, was it Fincher?
It was Fincher.
It was Fincher.
I
It might
remember
have been
because the
Fincher,
Gone
yeah.
Girl stuff started popping up around then,
Yeah.
and he was attached to that forever and then dropped out.
Yeah, but I think it fell through the cracks and just kind of gone.
They've been trying to do that movie for a long time. I remember when there were a couple of writers that were in for it, and it's something that they definitely want to do for sure. I just don't know if it'll ever get on the ground. I think it should be. It'd be interesting to see.
What's another good classic Disney live action?
Oh, Disney live action?
Yeah,
I
Disney
got
live
one.
what?
You ready?
Yeah.
Pete's Dragon.
That'd be interesting.
Oh,
That's a good one.
once again, there was talk of Pete's Dragon.
It'd be so good.
And this goes all the way back to when I was doing the movie blog, so this is going years and years and years back. But I remember doing a story about how there was talks. Somebody had just bought the rights to Pete's Dragon, and they were going to do a live-action version of it. Wah, wah. Apparently that never happened.
It was so clever, and the songs.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one.
Is it just Disney? Is that what it was? Just Disney?
Yeah, Disney. And I'm going to say something that a lot of people are going to be upset at.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to be upset at. I know you're almost going to hit me.
Oh, no.
Mary Poppins.
Yes, I'm upset.
I think, no. As perfect as Mary Poppins is, I think I would be interested to see somebody like Guillermo del Toro doing because it's such a
dark Mary
Poppins. No, not dark. Hey, come on,
book. If you look at the book,
it is dark.
Yeah,
It's dark.
and not all Guillermo del Toro stuff is dark.
It should be.
But he's so good in the fantasy. I think
He is.
that doing that with a modern filmmaker like Guillermo with modern visual effects, it would never replace the original, but I think it would be really interesting.
And then you have P.S. Travers like clapping for the grave that finally someone got it right.
Who steps in after Julie Andrews? Like, come on.
Oh, hey, it doesn't have to be as good as the original. I just think it'd be really cool to see.
That is as classic as it gets. That is slightly insulting. I'm not going to hit you because you warned me. But yeah, no. Nope.
All right, let's go. What else do we got?
The next one we have is from Richard Hardick, who says, due to the box office success and the great response to Angelina's performance, do you think that we'll get a sequel to Maleficent?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know where they would go with that. I think the success of Maleficent is going to make them look at some other similar properties very hard. But if you've seen the movie, you know it's not a matter of it doesn't need a sequel. I don't know where you go. I mean, it ends on its happily ever after.
It does.
I don't think they'd repeat it.
I won't say never because we're in enough money. Who knows how much it's going to tap out at? So it's possible, but I agree with you guys. I don't think it's going to happen because, again, what they're doing with all their animation and making it's working. Alice in Wonderland, now they're going to do The Little Mermaid, and we talked about Beauty and the Beast yesterday. So I think that's exactly what you're just going to see more and more. Aladdin will come out eventually. You're going to see all these movies start to happen. So.
I'm okay with a live-action Aladdin. I'm not going to lie.
Cool.
That story's so rich.
Oh, no, you do a live-action Aladdin
so cool.
that is actually, because remember they just announced they're going to do a remake, a live-action remake of the animated Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
I think a live-action remake of the animated Aladdin would be
cool.
very interesting.
Get the voice of Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Please, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think a Maleficent, A, is necessary, but B, where Angelina Jolie is in her career right now, she's not going to reprise this character.
You know what's funny, though, about that? I'm sorry to cut you off, but the fact that we were talking about this recently, if you look at her film career, she doesn't have a lot of great movies.
We're going to fight.
I'm telling you.
We're going to fight.
You and I had the conversation.
You and I are going to fight.
All the ones that you brought up, though, I agree with.
Girl Interrupted,
she only has, like,
Gia.
you can name on your hand all the good ones.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Right, decent ones. But the rest, she has a lot of terrible movies. She's more famous for being famous and for adopting children than she is.
Hey, whoa.
That's true.
She is an incredible human being. All her
I'm not making fun of her,
and
I'm
she's
saying,
talent. Amazing
but
talent.
I'm saying that's why she's mostly famous, though. Her movies are, so she might want to do a sequel.
She wasn't bad in Tomb Raider either.
The first Tomb Raider was okay. The second one was horrendous.
Wanted.
Yeah, Criminal Life sucked.
Yeah.
Wanted.
Oh, she was great.
Let's
Wanted.
keep going.
But let's put it. No, she broke out because of an Academy Award nomination.
Yeah.
She became
Very well
famous
deserved.
because she carried her husband's blood around in a vial.
Well, right.
And she's
That's
the
made her
most
famous.
beautiful
What is so weird
goddess.
about that? I don't understand.
She's also kind of a goddess.
But and let's face it, she is ridiculously talented.
Of course, she absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
And
taking that away.
She's doing her directorial stuff now. With
Yeah.
her second one coming
which
up.
I'm very
I
excited
just don't see it
about.
happening, and I frankly, I don't want a sequel to it.
Yeah.
She was fabulous in that role.
But that's it. Leave it be.
That's it.
Yeah.
Leave it be.
Okay, what else we got?
Thomas Bergstrom says, do you think Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor will return as Force ghosts in Star Wars Episodes 7 through 9?
Don't do it.
I wouldn't bet the house against it, especially with McGregor. McGregor, I mean, Christian and I did a 4-week series called Jedi Council, and one of the guys who did that with us was Paul Enns, who's a very long-time friend of mine, and he's the former director of Lucas Online, actually, and he was on set as they were filming all the prequels. And he said, one thing you can't, even though, Ewan was disappointed by the reception of the prequels, he said,
Because they suck.
he loves that character.
Yeah.
Ewan loves being Obi Wan Kenobi. And so with that in mind, and if you kind of look, this is only for the sweaty Star Wars nerds who will get this.
Yeah.
If you look at the ending of Season 6 of Clone Wars, a Force ghost of Obi-Wan is not out of consistency with what the story of canon has been so far.
Right.
Hayden Christensen, I'll say no.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor, I'll say no, but don't bet hard against it. I think there is a possibility there.
I think we're going to see Ewan McGregor as a Force ghost. I don't think we'll do Hayden Christensen because, again, I think J.J. Abrams he understands what people like and don't like, and that's one of the biggest complaints was Hayden Christensen even getting replaced.
So you don't think we're going to see an old man Jar Jar Binks?
Oh,
my
you
God.
crossed that out.
The
only way I would be able to walk out of the theater, unless like he was hit by a wampa, and that was the end of it. But I will say that the reason why I think they'll also set that up, I do think eventually that we're going to get a standoff Obi Wan movie.
A lot of people believe that.
And I think that you have to keep Ewan McGregor in there to let people. Yeah, I think so. I think that because the adventures of him, what he was doing between episode 3 and episode 4 in that time period could be fascinating.
It might be. It might be.
I
Even
would
though
like
I don't
to
like
see
prequel ideas.
I mean, we all pretty much hate the prequels. We've
Yes.
gone on record many a time, so there's no shock there. But I don't think he was bad in the films. He was decent with a really, really bad script, basically. Is what
I don't know.
know.
I don't think he was good at all.
I don't think he was
But
bad.
the reason he was not good at all was because he was very, very poorly directed.
Very poorly directed.
I mean, and look, this is George Lucas is famous. There's this great story about George Lucas told by Ron Howard, because Ron Howard worked on American Graffiti with George Lucas, and this was back when Ron Howard was thinking about getting into film school, going to film school. He was thinking about becoming a director, and so George Lucas pulls him aside and they're talking. And I love the way Ron Howard tells the story, but George Lucas tells him, hey, man, and this tells you everything about George Lucas. He says, oh, that's great you want to be director. You know what? Get into animation. Go into animation. And Ron Howard said, really? Why? Because then you don't have to worry about actors. You don't have to work with actors. And really, when you look at the prequels, that's what it is. Yeah. It's George Lucas with this vision, which is an incredible vision.
Just don't direct
it. And okay, no, just stand in front of that blue screen and read those lines. Yeah, just read it however. Read it however.
I can't remember which actor it was, but someone said, I think it was during the first Star Wars, when he walked up to one of the actors and said, do it again, but do it better. And then he walked away. That was his direction to the actor. And he was like, okay, we're on our own here, guys.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, but I personally, I don't know. I kind of rather see someone else. I know for keeping it somewhat consistent with the character, it would maybe make sense, but I just want to get that bad taste out of my mouth and start fresh. So
I think he deserves another chance, though.
It's not about him. It's about what serves the story.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. But that's why I think he deserves another chance, because his talents serving the character of Obi Wan. That's why I think that he will be good for the role.
Did you think he wasn't awful either?
No, I thought I agree with John in the fact that I think that he was just given garbage to work with, and he just wasn't directed the way he should have been.
Liam Neeson looked bad.
Yeah,
and it ain't because Liam Neeson ain't got talent. It's because he wasn't directed properly.
Natalie Portman looked bad.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Black Arrow wants to know if there's any news on Cumberbatch's Alan Turing project. He was really looking forward to it.
I know nothing about it, to be honest.
I know nothing, but I also am very curious to find out about it.
He's one of those guys right now that literally could do like a Apple commercial, and you'd be like, I can't wait until that airs. Like,
not true. Not true.
So distinctive.
Just a couple of months ago, we had our first North American wide-release Benedict Cumberbatch film about the WikiLeaks. It was
Fifth Estate.
Fifth Estate.
But the movie wasn't good.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't good.
Yeah.
But nobody went to see it. Nobody wanted to, even though it was Benedict Cumberbatch.
And Daniel Bruhl, who was
amazing in Rush. I thought he deserved an Academy Award nomination for that. But I think sometimes we think, oh, this guy's so awesome. You know, if you put him in this movie, everybody will go to see it. Not true.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think, going off my point, not as far as box office numbers go, too, because the star doesn't sell the movie anymore anyway. That's just not the age we live in. But he's one of those guys, regardless. The reason you did watch that movie was to see what he was going to do. If you did see it. And he is the one guy that, when you think about that, Daniel Bruhl was great in the movie, but it's Cumberbatch is the one guy you really think about after you see that movie. The movie wasn't good.
He was hypnotizing in it,
He was.
It
and
was just
that's what
movie.
I meant more. Like, he's just that kind of engaging actor that if you have to even watch a bad movie, you're glad you're watching a bad movie with him in it.
I agree, yeah.
All right, what's next?
Simon Blakemore wants to know if we think that we could get a Batwoman movie, and could it be good?
No and yes. No, will one come? No, no, they're not going to make a Batwoman movie.
Could it be good?
Could it be good? Look, we talk about this all the time, but it's true. Whenever I say something probably isn't a good idea, people say to me, but John, if you get a great script and a great director and great actors, it could be awesome.
Here comes your Starbucks analogy.
To which I say, yes, but I could say I'm going to make a movie called Felipe the Sentient Dancing Microphone. And if I have a great script and a great director and great actors, it's going to be a good movie. So you could say that about any concept on Earth. I can make a movie about this glass of heart water.
It's a good glass.
I'm going to make a movie about this glass of heart water. I'm going to get... who's the guy who wrote West Wing again?
I love you, Aaron Sorkin.
So I'm going to get Sorkin. I'm going to get Sorkin to write me a script about the heart glass water, all right? And then I'm going to get Fincher to direct it.
Can I star?
You can be the star, and I'm going to get Benedict to bring us all full star. I'm going to get Benedict to be in it. I'm going to get Daniel Bruhl, and I'm going to get Brad Pitt. I'm going to get Angelina Jolie, and I'm going to get I don't know.
Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, Shailene Woodley.
I like your head, that kid. Sold.
And it's going to be, if I have a great script, it's going to be great because it's about the heart. So could it be if you do the yes? But what's the likelihood? Like, whatever. It could be great, but I don't think people are interested in it, and I don't think people would go to see it. Of course, it could be good.
So this is the equivalent of your Friday rant, but just a little more stripped down and cozy.
Sure.
Minor rant. Let DC focus on all these other characters first. If for some reason they run out of material in the next 20 years, maybe, but we don't need to have a Batwoman right now.
No.
Agreed. All right, what's next?
Simon Blakemore, do you think we could... Oh, that's the same one. Just kidding. Patrick Monahan, do you think we will ever see a remake of the baseball movie Major League or a movie like it? Thanks.
I adored...
Me too.
I don't know why. I'm one of the few people that actually preferred Major League 2 to Major League 1. But I love them both. I thought they were both so great. I could watch this over and over again. Could I see... Yeah, it's topical. It's relevant. I mean, he'd still do it about the Cleveland Indians again.
At this point, yeah.
So I mean, I loved it, and you get as long as you get a really great eclectic cast of characters like you did in that first one, one or two big names, a couple of up-and-comers that have a lot of personality, like the first cast did, then I think you could really, really do it, and I think it would work really well.
You were talking before about Mary Poppins. This is my Mary Poppins.
Yes.
I love Major League's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Amazing.
The first
Number
one.
one, right? Okay.
I actually hate the second one because what they did, the baseball culture, those locker rooms and everything, some of the truck drivers can stand aside. And they captured that in the first movie. If this movie was made today, and by example of what they did with the second one, they would make it PG-13. It doesn't work. The fact of what these guys did and the way Ricky Vaughn was and like the way that he came out. Just I want to quote the movie, but I can't because we're on the show. And it's just so many memorable quotes. And it was just that kind of chemistry where you had, again, using the heart glass and stuff too, you had the right combination of everything. So I don't want to see it touched. I think there could be a movie similar to it, to where maybe you focus on a team. There's a movie that I'd like to see remade, going back into remakes. It's a movie with Daryl Palmer. Oh, I can't remember the name. I got to think about it. With Rebecca De Mornay, where basically
Hand That Rocks Your Cradle.
No, but it's about The Slugger's Wife is the name of the movie, and it was a terrible movie. Terrible movie. And terrible movie should be remade. I want to see that movie remade in today's. It's about the guy who broke the home run record, and he was playing for the Braves, who were crappy at the time. A movie like that would be cool. Or
I want to see 20 years later Mighty Ducks reunion. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. I think it's classic. I mean, this couch, we are always on the side. He's pro remakes. I'm like, don't touch a classic. That's always just how it goes. I don't understand remaking a film like this because sports in general, I know that's my weakness. I love sports movies. I've played a lot of sports throughout my life. I get super inspired by the team dynamics and all of that good stuff. And I just feel like there's so much content that could be explored that wouldn't be a remake. So many different scenarios they could do with a new team and new personalities. And I just don't think it needs to be done.
The two are not mutually exclusive.
But I do think that
it's not like if you make a remake, you can't make another sports movie. You can have them both.
Yeah, but why do a remake? Why use recycled ideas? Because it's a fresh concept that you're trying to explore.
Look, we're getting into this all the time.
I know we
5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 900 feature-length films come out every single year.
Yeah.
There is tons, and there has never been an age in Hollywood when more original content has been produced than today.
I know this argument. I'm just saying, don't touch a classic.
Why?
There's
no reason not to.
I think I'm on the side on the both of you guys. In the one, they're going to remake everything. We have to embrace the fact that they're remaking stuff. And there are remakes. You and I were just talking about before with Footloose. You liked it more than you thought.
Bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to happen where you're going to say, no, don't touch it. And then there will be a movie that is remade that you will enjoy. And that you may even think was better than the original. It may or may not happen.
I've yet to see that.
But I think we're all going to be on the same page that there are some movies that we just don't want to see touched, even if they are going to be touched. Like a Major League, even if you wouldn't care if it was remade, I would be cursing it. And then if it was remade, I'd be like, okay, it was good.
Here's my question. I got to ask everybody, why? Why would you be cursing it? Because unless the studio said, okay, we are going to come up with this new vision of Major League, and to commemorate this new Major League, we are deleting the originals off of the Netflix servers, we are removing every DVD ever created of it, and we're taking it out of existence. Unless they're doing that, I still don't like Star Wars. It's the greatest cultural masterpiece ever to me. You can remake Star Wars to me. That's fine. If it's great, awesome.
What?
If it sucks,
Blasphemy.
But no, if it sucks, who cares?
Blasphemy.
I still have the original.
Yeah, but then it starts to go into it, because if that movie becomes successful, then they start going over new timelines. Let's say, guys, I always use Michael Bay directs the new Star Wars remake, okay?
Right.
And it crushes.
Don't do
It
that.
does so well, right? And Ashton Kutcher plays Luke Skywalker.
You
okay?
crossed this out.
This is what I'm saying.
Christian.
This is what I'm saying. So, and it crushes. Now they have to make more of those, and everybody's going to go, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's a ripple in time that destroys my mind, and I want to move to Canada.
And yet, I will still have my original Star Wars.
I'd rather them
that isn't
continue
affected
the
at all.
story. I'd rather them get as many from the original
I
films as
agree
they
with
could
that.
and go that way. I'm cool with that.
As I gave that example, I heard a million voices all out screaming.
Cry out in terror.
Better than remaking it. Come on.
Who cares? All right, what's next?
Just no one in particular, but I keep seeing it on and on and on. Everyone wants to know what everyone's thoughts are on the rumor of Jared Leto becoming Doctor Strange.
I give no weight to it whatsoever. However, if we're going to speak in theoreticals, it's a great casting choice. Like a lot of people, I've heard some people instantly say, he's too young. He's 43.
Yeah.
Just because he has a
looks
baby
young,
face,
right.
guys.
He's 43. Actually, I went to a lunch with him. Me and my wife went to a lunch with him maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, and him and Matthew McConaughey were there. And
Good lunch.
it is crazy, the sexual energy in the room amongst the women in the room that just soared when Leto walked in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah, I get it. He's the rock star. And I looked at him like, well, damn, I want to go give him a hug. Like, he is a good-looking dude.
Yeah, it's great.
And you know what it is about
like
this
it.
Doctor Strange casting? If, again, speculation. For a long time, there was a rumor that, and again, speculation, that Johnny Depp would be playing Doctor Strange. And it was like, well, he keeps playing these kind of really super eccentric, and he's super famous, almost out-famousing the character itself. Jared Leto, even though he's won the Academy Award, is still at that level of he hasn't done a Pirates of the Caribbean. He hasn't done one of those movies.
not. Yeah.
So him in this role is very intriguing to me. I don't know how possible it is.
Yeah.
But if it happened, I think I'd be all on board for this because I want to see him do a mainstream film.
I'm really excited about this, and with Derrickson, like the vibe that he brought, and I mean, this character is dark and kooky, and his backstory is really messed up, and like, there's a lot going on there, and I think that, Jared has shown that, in his limited films, because he's gone on to be a rock star in more recent years, that he's got all the elements I'd want to see in this character. So I think it's really good, and even though he is recent Academy Award winner, he's still not mainstream, as you said. He's still kind of unconventional.
Because how many
so is
people
Derrickson.
saw the Dallas Buyers Club?
Right.
Next to nobody saw it. So, I mean,
Exactly.
you're right. That's a great point.
So
that he's
I
not
really-
mainstream. It would
I
be
like it a
wonderful.
lot.
It's the same point that we were making the other day with Lupita Nyong'o being cast.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's a great cast again. People, some people would not sort of the fact she's that know her saying this is a mainstream cast. It's not at all.
No,
a lot of people don't
not at
know.
all.
And a lot of people didn't see 12 Years a Slave. They know
Yeah.
that she might have won, but I think casting like that
I like
is
it.
beneficial for roles.
Yeah, so would Leto be my first choice? No. Second choice? No. Third choice? No. But is he one of those names that if they announce it tomorrow,
wouldn't be
I'd be
upset.
totally
Yeah.
okay with it? I'd be like, yeah, that works.
Me too.
All right, what's next? We got time for a few more.
Garen Howells wants to know, do you think that we could possibly see some Warner Brothers movies remade Lego style in the future? Like maybe the Lego Dark Knight?
Okay, I remember this very clear. This is still back in the day when we used to shoot AMC Movie Talk at our Burbank studio. And we were talking about this upcoming Lego movie.
That none of us were
and
looking
how
forward to.
it sounded totally ridiculous and totally dumb, and then the first main trailer came out for it. And I believe I was on with Dennis and Schnepp, and they were both like, Lego, still. But after I saw the first trailer, I'm like, forget it. I said, I am officially out of the doubting the Lego franchise
And
business.
everything is
I am
awesome.
out of that
Yeah.
business because I thought that trailer looked awesome. I said they're going to be able to make 5 movies a year. They can do Lego They could totally do a
Please
standalone
do
Lego
Will
Batman
Arnett
movie.
Lego
They could do a
Batman.
full
Yes.
Lego Batman movie. They could do a they've already got it straight to home video, but you could do a theatrical like Lord of the Rings movie. You could do anything that Warner Brothers does. You could do in Lego. Just get Miller and Ward to direct it, and I'm sure you'll be fine.
You know what's curious about that as well, too? Is because I was actually on board with the Lego movie for a while because I had seen what they did with Star Wars on there. They had a Star Wars little mini thing, and it was hysterical.
Hysterical, yeah.
And they have, apparently, if you've seen... Can we spoil a part of Lego because it's been out for so long?
Yeah.
All right, there's a part with the Star Wars universe, with the music, with the
Let's
characters.
not give the details of
Sure,
it. Right.
but in that, they have the rights to Star Wars in some capacity with Lego. I don't know what what it is. If they could do a full movie on that, I would love to see it. But yeah, Batman or even like a Justice League, once we get more like a Man of Steel version of it, I'd see anything Lego does at this point.
Yeah, but as long as
so
Miller
much,
and Lord are
there's so much content to explore, and I made so much money. It was such a great, glorious surprise. Like, why not? So it makes sense.
Okay, let's take a couple more.
Frank Foster says, why do you think comedy sequels have a hard time being as good as their original, like The Hangover, for example?
Well, The Hangover 2 was just awful. I mean, literally, The Hangover 2, sometimes we joke about sequels just being the same as the first one, but The Hangover 2 was literally the exact movie, just in a different location.
Literally.
You know, we talked about this one the other day. Analyze This was such a great, refreshing, wonderful comedy, and then they did a sequel. Meet the Parents turned into Meet the Fockers. I'm trying to think of the last comedy I saw where the sequel was even funnier before 22 Jump Street.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
And we'll go into 22 Jump Street as we get closer, because this movie is unbelievable. I'm trying to think of a second one that was even better. I can't remember the last one that I could say that about.
Yeah, I'd have to really...
Porky's 2?
I wouldn't say,
I wouldn't go back that far.
I wouldn't say better than the first, but I'd say that was pretty fun. I liked Austin Powers too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I thought I
too.
liked it even better than the first one. Yeah.
But I mean, some people like Wayne's World too. I didn't as much. But there are some movies that. But mostly, Caddyshack 2 is the one that always. It's tough because a lot of times it is the same movie, or they just don't know what to do, and it's just a cash grab.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, 22 Jump Street, I can't wait to talk about.
And because it was so self-aware, and we'll go into details as well. When a sequel is self-aware, and it's like, you know, even the Muppets, when they're like, oh, it's never as good as the first, then you're kind of like nodding, and you can enjoy it and take it for what it is. I think that's a really clever approach. Then the Hangover effect is like, this worked, let's do the same formula.
Exactly
it's like, continue the story, like develop the characters.
Speaking of Austin Powers, my favorite line, though, out of all the Austin Powers movies, I don't know why I just thought of this, but is Michael Caine saying, there are two things in this... terrible Michael Caine.
Do it.
There are two things in this world I cannot stand. First, those intolerant of other people's cultures. And second, the Dutch. that line had me on the floor. I laughed so hard. Okay, what's next?
Colby wants to know if you have a favorite or least favorite movie genre.
Oh.
Probably for me, it's horror, and not because I don't like the...
It's your
You're
favorite
talking about
or
your
least
least
favorite?
least favorite, excuse me.
Favorite and least favorite.
Least favorite is horror, because for me, I think it's the laziest, because sometimes...
Whoa.
I'll give you an example why. Because they make a lot of them, they just churn a lot of them out for cheap. The studios will have a budget and say, we can make this for $5 million, we can make our money back for it, people will see it, whether it be direct to DVD, right, direct to DVD or whatever. They continue to put it out, and we get these slasher films and movies that don't work, and then you get something great like The Conjuring or or Sinister.
Descent.
Right.
Descent.
There are movies that absolutely work, but I feel like sometimes there's not a lot of effort put into them that there could be. I walking, another ghost movie where this is going to happen. It's the most cliched version genre out of all of them. As far as favorite, I'd probably say sci-fi fantasy is my favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you about the horror thing. Not because there aren't great horror films
out there, for sure.
But if you take all the genres and say, okay, let's look at the ratio of how many from this genre turn out to be crap and how many turn out to be great. I think even the most diehard of horror fan will admit that in the horror genre, the scale goes this way. So I mean, that's one thing to say. Although everybody knows how much I think that's part of the reason why I love a really good horror movie, because when they do come, it's like this is something so special. And for me, it's sci-fi. It's always going to be sci-fi because of Star Wars. So anyway, what about you?
I love horror movies. I do understand that they make them for little, and there's some, but when they hit it
I agree.
hard.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
all the elements are magical and work together. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite because my range is so diverse. I love a good fantasy, sci-fi, action, and I really like dark, like obscure comedies. Like, really big fan of clever writing, interesting characters, and that are really not afraid to touch real life situations that are maybe not so happy-go-lucky. I hate the typical rom-com that is by numbers. They like they offend me. I'm so bored of them. Like, kill off one of the main characters, take a risk, do something weird. But by numbers in rom-coms, I won't see them.
So you hate Katherine Heigl's career?
Oh my God, yes I do.
I still
Except for
say
Knocked Up.
The Ugly Truth is one of the great romantic comedies of the past 5 years.
It's not that
The
bad.
Ugly Truth.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that movie was going to be horrendous.
Come on,
not that
Should
bad.
I get you a cranberry juice?
The vibrating underwear scene in the restaurant. Come on, that was gold.
Yeah,
All right,
it was
what's
better
next?
than I thought.
Matthew Hageman. First of all, love the show. Do you think we'll ever see a Buffy the Vampire Slayer film reboot?
Well, remember, a couple of years ago, they wanted to do a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. They were moving ahead with doing a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, and then it came out that they were not going to get Joss Whedon involved in any way, shape, or form. Then there was this backlash against this, like, there is no Buffy without Joss, which I think is ridiculous. I think, and you can change parts. But still, there was a really bad backlash, and then very quietly it disappeared. So I got a feeling the answer is no.
Yeah.
But never say never.
So sad.
But I feel like the answer is no.
I don't think it's going to happen unless Joss decides, again, 10, 15 years down the line, he wants to revisit it and he wants to do it because it is his. And I think, again, even though it was using Star Wars, again, George Lucas still has his stamp on this movie because he wrote the original treatments on Episode 7. So there's some elements of George in there. To do a Buffy without Joss Whedon, you just can't do it.
I don't think you can either. And the original is one of my guilty pleasures. Christy Swanson, Luke Perry, come on. It's a classic. And the special effects at the time.
Wasn't Rutger Hauer, too? Like, wasn't Rutger...
Yeah.
And Hilary Swank was in it. I mean,
She
there's
sure
a
was.
lot of... So I love that movie, I still think. And Paul Rubens.
Pee-wee.
Yeah, Pee-wee. Yeah. It's so good. So I don't think you should touch it, but we all know where I stand on that.
All right, folks. Well, listen, we are actually all out of time. Thanks so much for joining us today for this very special, laid-back, casual Friday episode of AMC Movie Talk. We're so glad you decided to be a part of us today. Listen, I want to remind you, lots of great films playing in AMC theaters everywhere right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, and your movie ticket information. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and click the thumbs up button too, as a way as letting us know that you like what we do on the show. And if you want an audio-only version of this show, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to our Stitcher and our iTunes so you can listen to us on the way to work. Joining me on the L-shaped couches here, first of all, to my left, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter and Instagram at Amy Rosie. Have a delightful weekend.
Mr. Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people find you?
If you want to go to Twitter at Christian Harloff, but also if you want your Star Wars fix, you still can find my Far, Far Away podcast on Geek Nation. Check that out.
And, of course, our gatekeeper, Miss Chris Lee Kennedy. Chris Lee, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Lee, and I will be ugly crying again with The Fault in Our Stars this weekend, so check it out.
And you can just follow me on all the various social media networks at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia, and until Monday, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.